All right, now we're on this W3Schools HTML tutorial, HTML introduction right here. All right, so this one's a much longer than the other two. This one's going to be more like a real page. So we'll just go through it. So HTML is the standard markup language for creating web pages, right? So what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. That's if you're a very new beginner, this is pretty important. But you'll hear it a bunch. You'll hear it so many times you'll never forget it. HTML is the standard markup language for creating web pages. HTML describes the structure of a web page. HTML consists of a series of elements. HTML elements tell the browser how to display the content, and HTML elements label pieces of content such as this is a heading, this is a paragraph, this is a link, etc. And we'll get into all this by the end of this page. So a simple HTML document looks like this, okay? So there's this thing right here, which is a declaration that defines this document is an HTML5 document. Okay, so it tells the thing that it's HTML5 instead of something else. HTML here is the element, the HTML, I'm just going to read this thing straight off. So the HTML element, this one here, is the root element of an HTML page. The head element, this one here, all right? And so the HTML element opens here and it closes here. The head element opens here, closes here, and this whole thing is the head element. This whole thing is the HTML element, all right? And we'll get into all that. So the title element specifies, let's go back to the head. The head element contains the meta information about the HTML page. So like the page title and other stuff, we'll get into all the meta stuff we need to know about later also. So the title element specifies a title for the HTML page, which is shown in the browser's title bar or the title or the pages tab. So whatever goes in here is going to show up here. So in this page's HTML, the title is Introduction to HTML. Okay, so the body element defines the document's body and is a container for all the visible contents such as headings, paragraphs, images, hyperlinks, tables, lists, etc. All right, so I guess this whole page, everything on this page is within a body element. So it's going to be that, and then a body opens, and then all this stuff's punched into there. And then the H1 element defines a large heading. So inside of the body, there's going to be these H1s, which are going to be large heading. Let me show you on here. So you see this is large print, and this is small print, all right? So the H1 element defines the large heading. The P element defines a paragraph. Awesome. So what is an HTML element? An HTML element is defined by a start tag, some content, I should say, and an end tag, all right? So here's the start tag right here in the inside of these angle brackets, just like this up here and all these. And then the content, so for this HTML, all this would be the content for this start tag, and then also the end tag. Okay, here we go, end tag right here. And so this one right here is the end tag for the HTML. All right. So the HTML element is everything from the start tag to the end tag. So we just went over that. Start tag, this basically the same thing. All right, so note some HTML elements have no content, like the BR element. And these elements are called empty elements. Empty elements do not have an end tag, turns out. All right, so let's just try to remember that because there's a few that we use. Anyway, web browsers. So the purpose of a web browser, Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Safari, is to read HTML documents and display them correctly. What about Bing? and Bing. A browser does not display the HTML tags, but uses them to determine how to display the document. Okay, so basically the HTML, let's go up here again. Well, we got it over here. So the HTML is this stuff, and it displays on the web page like this. If we had this and we're displaying it on a web page like this, it would just do this right here. All right. So let's go over here to HTML page structure. So below is a visualization of an HTML page structure. So this is the more reading friendly readability. This focuses more on readability. So we'll put the HTML here, and you see these are on the same indentation. So it means that this is a container that contains this element right here, and it also contains this element right here, which each of these contains. This element contains this. This one contains this stuff. Okay, so the content inside the body section will be displayed in a browser. The content inside the title element will be shown in the browser's title bar or in the Pages tab. So yeah, this stuff right somewhere, wherever the title was, like we went over earlier, this and the body stuff is all this. Okay, cool. So HTML history. Tim Berners-Lee in 1989 invented www. This person invented HTML. David Raggett drafted HTML+. HTML Working Group defined HTML 2.0. W3C recommendation, whatever that is. HTML 3.2, same 4.01, same XHTML 1.0 in 2000. Okay, and then the rest of this stuff is history, all right? And so this tutorial follows the latest HTML5 standard. So that's the one we're using right now. I guess it's all of this. All right. Yeah, so anyway, so there's that. So now we're on to HTML editors. And we'll see you next time.